So I think we've got the sound going along now. Yeah? Yeah, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Thanks, Sonda, and thanks, Tony, for letting me know. I think it was just a case of having to swap microphones due to battery not wanting to play ball with me. So there were some keywords about what we're going to be covering tonight, which is the Ace of Cups. And for the intro, I'm terribly sorry if you missed that. I just said that we are moving in to the sign of Cancer tomorrow, and the longest day begins. And good, sounds okay, thank you very much. Hi Passionate Saji, how are you doing? So everyone can hear now. Microphone decided to switch itself off. Oh, good. So what do we have? We've got a storm going on here, folks. That could be the very reason for cutting the sound on the microphone and whatever. Good job, I've got two of them, isn't it? So, into the element and the suit of water, all about emotions. So, you know, this is the suit of cups that we are starting off with. And as you can see on the screen, I'm going to be talking about the Ace of Cups. So the suit of cups is governed by the element of water, which rules our emotions. And cups represent feelings and emotions, and we display whether we feel, what we create, and our direct out to the world experience of what we're feeling and how the world is actually affecting us. So it shows us how our heart's responding to events, sentimental ideals, and emotional judgments. Cups can also be called the suit of chalices, cauldrons, vessels, and goblets. And if we were looking at a standard playing deck of cards, they are likened to the suit of hearts. Some key words that define water and the cups are emotions, feelings, love, relationships, ideas, hopes, expectancies, and dreaming. Any questions, anyone? Feel free to type in. And as I said, we go into the longest day tomorrow, the 21st of June, the summer solstice, where we will probably really feel emotions and energies. Now, the Ace of Cups is a card where we are shown that the hand is coming out from a cloud, and the Ace of Cups has been offered from the heavens as a gift of optimism and plenty of love to be enjoyed and cherished by all who receive it. It's a card of a lot of religious symbology, and from the grey cloud a hand is emerging, and it's holding a golden chalice in its palm. The bright white angelic hand is a sign of a gift of absolute sincerity. That's why it's white. So the lack of colour is also a sign of a beginning, as no colour has yet been added. The sky and the clouds can indicate a time to consider and embrace the gifts with equal sincerity. And this emerges from the right-hand side of this card, which is coming from the emotional, creative, spiritual, and imaginative gift that's been offered to us. Something's been offered from the heart. The gold of the cup shows that this chalice's gifts can be fully felt in our outer lives, i.e. the physical, and yet deeply felt within the emotional and sometimes the spiritual. The chalice is a communion cup which is used in ceremonies in churches to offer the blood of Christ, and it's linked to the Holy Grail, which was said to be the cup that Christ drank out of at the Last Supper. The Grail also represents the start of a quest, so it's a time to be passionate about searching for an ideal that calls to our hearts. Now, it has 3 small pendant bells which symbolize creation, and we have a pair of wings which are underneath the bell, adding to the opportunities of this divine aspect. So drinking from this cup is supposed to purge sins, release the past, and let us know that we can be forgiven and become wholesome again. Hi Carla, how are you? Nice to see you. We're on to the happiest suit in the deck, the cups, which is wonderful. On the chalice is the letter W. Now, some say that this is upside down for the capital letter M, or some say that W represents weight, as in Rider-Waite. Yet, it can be said that it might be symbology or significance of a Hebrew word, mayim, which means water. Water obviously represents life, motherhood, and creation, as well as cleansing, salvation, and our faith. It might be upside down in the sense of, think about this, okay, we've got W on the chalice, and so it's upside down as it's upright. But when you drink out of it, it would be the right way up, i.e. M, for that Hebrew word, meim. So the dove, that white dove, is a sign of peace. And it's flying down into the chalice with that communion wafer, which symbolises Christ's body, the communion wafer that is. And so this is a blessing from above that's been brought into our physical world. And just as Jesus came down and was resurrected to bring new life. I told you there was a lot of religious sort of symbology attached to this, but bear with us. It's nice to know why we've got all this symbology and why it's so pure and maybe so godly, and why it can make us feel so good. Just like when we enter into, whether we're religious or not, we can go into a place that is feeling as if there's a sense of peace, calm and serenity when we go to such a place, such as a holy place. So there's a blessing from above, and we can see that there is a cross within that wafer, and it's even, can you see it's even-sided? This symbolises peace and balance. So all these symbols are there to represent harmony and forgiveness, which are needed for us to be able to have new emotional beginnings. So the cup flows with water, and that symbolises the flow of emotions. And 5 streams of water represent our 5 senses, which leaves us in tune with ourselves. So this ace possesses an abundance of overflowing emotions, and the water flows into the pool below. But if you look, there's no ripples, there's no negativity, nothing's been stirred. So the water that it's affecting is the emotions, and they're remaining calm. So the cup's overflowing with life, and the water represents the subconscious, and that's the subconscious mind, while the inner self is flowing into the physical side of life. So falling from the cup, we have 26 yods, which resemble droplets. They fall into the relaxed emotions of the water below, adding little divine drops of creation. And so it's the ingredients of a new life and a real chance for growth. 26 links to lots of things, but it's linked again into some sort of numerology value of God's name in certain languages. And the lotus flowers that we can see on the water are in bloom. Now they're very significant because they symbolize a lot of things. So if we go to ancient Egypt, they're representing the sun rising every day from the darkness. And the lotus plant grows from the murkiness of a dark pond, and it represents rebirth and renewal of life. So something that beautiful can grow from murky waters. In Buddhism, the lotus is associated with spiritual awakenings, purity, and faithfulness. So if we look, breaking the surface of the pond water, it shows the surface of desires leading to growth. And there are little pink lotuses being represented by the fact that that's symbolic of Buddha. So in Hinduism, the lotus is associated with beauty, fertility, prosperity, spirituality, and eternity. So a lotus can grow from the bottom of muddy lakes unspoilt and pure, and represents wisdom, spirituality, and enlightening qualities. There are 6 unopened buds showing an attraction to this opportunity as it awakens something within us. And those buds represent a folded soul that can unfold and open itself up to divine truth. So that's what the lotus flower is there for. 3 are open in this scene, which shows a new future and that we can create what we want within our minds, and that the opportunity is being presented to us. The mix of opened and unopened lotuses brings a time of growth emotionally and a prepare for more emotional changes. Don't forget that all aces bring opportunities, not absolutes, and here we're given the chance for a new emotional start. And so the Ace of Cups brings happiness, smiles, and new emotional beginnings, which can often be seen as a blessing. So we are brought a fresh flow of emotions. It's a time to heal, time to remove pain, and to feel cleansed from our past. So this is the chance of new life, or even a new life itself, or a new life beginning. We may have the gift of love, hope, luck, sincerity, and new emotional beginnings. Don't forget the optimism is also crucial to this. The number 1 is the desire for action, new beginnings, and movement. So in this card, it's all about love, isn't it? It holds the key to everything. So there'll be a new emotional beginning, which can stem from feelings of being deep in love. It's a time to feel upbeat, happy, and joyful as life brings you a sense of being fulfilled. Smiles are usually guaranteed when we get this card, and it's a great time to reach out to others. If you're asking a yes or no question with your tarot cards, this is a yes. And so the Ace of Cups brings the opportunity for more happiness. It's a time for us to look at being fulfilled within our feelings. And it's a time for the heart to have compassion and complete confidence. Anger and old angers are released. It's blended with new beginnings, laughter, and peacefulness. So peace is reigning when you get this card. It's letting go of any arguments, healing situations with love and compassion. So this is also a card that tells us to follow our hearts and to follow emotional impulses. And the optimism and hope will bring a situation to brighten and perceive that luck will be on your side. So there's going to be a lot of new bursts of positivity, loving energy in events, in life, and this card can be used as a yes to all your questions. So it's a very simple way of being able to read using this one card. So affection may be in the air, bringing new emotional beginnings, including new friendship, new relationship with ourselves even, loving relationships and emotional attractions. It's giving us the opportunity for something to grow within us. And so it shows that actions are pure and coming from the heart, and it's the onset of new relationships. And that doesn't mean somebody new. It might mean a new phase in a relationship with yourself, with your partner, with your special person. That is the onset of respect, faithfulness, and growth that's present in existing relationships. Often it can represent love and a pull on the heartstrings, feelings of sincerity towards one another and trust. And that can be given and taken with this card. So this is an ace that's very creative, and it can show a creative burst of energy, which can enable projects to get off to an energized and creative start of the emotional kind. So this is all about the emotions. So it's wonderful that we are going into an element of emotion, where we've just come out of the element of air, which was Gemini, of course, and we just finished the Swords. So the Ace of Cups can also show issues, perhaps the birth of a child, things like that. But do be careful when you're reading for people. It's not something that I would never ever offer that. You know my thoughts on that, and just keep it to yourself and be aware of that. You know that this is something that can bring about conception, pregnancy, birth, or those that wish to be pregnant, because it's all about the birth of emotion. So these are all about bringing new life into being, and the Ace of Cups is a really positive card. It can also be a sign that things are getting healthier in your life, including your own physical well-being. And there's a huge amount of optimism that sparks the need for desire and connections. So the Ace of Cups is a bit like my cup overflows with love and emotional beginnings. So some more key words are about new love, joy, happiness, happy news, contentment, beginnings of love affairs, conception, socializing, celebrations, toasts, abundances, fertility, of course. So when we see this hand reaching out from the cloud, or offering a chalice, or the cup, as it is, water springing from that cup, and it's cascading like a waterfall into the calm blue sea below. And that waterfall represents the overflowing or gushing forth of positive emotions. So that dove flying from above is entering into the cup with blessings from spirit above, as we see. The clear skies suggesting that things are peaceful, trouble-free, harmonious, and nothing troubling on the horizon. And the sky's colour symbolises a spiritual aspect, as in nature, and its governing element, which is water. Those pink and white lilies or lotus flowers that rest in the calm blue water there are open, whilst some are still in bud. This is suggesting that through a period of happiness, which appears to be abundant, there's still room for more growth and development. So, we can keep going with more growth, which is rather marvellous. So this card is so positive, and it speaks of joy and love that's in our lives. And the Ace of Cups brings the potential for deep contentedness from within and without. So it heralds a period of calm and balance in our lives. Now, because the cup is the element of water, excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of water myself. This ace brings a sense of pure love, which governs the situation. Love is the most incredible power on earth, and once we operate from such a position of pure intent and compassion, all of our endeavours and actions will be blessings. So the Ace of Cups reminds us that if we use love instead of control, that we can turn anything around that's doomed or negative in a situation. Because we can take and forgive and be the peacemakers with the Ace of Cups. But it's down to what we feel and whether or not we're going to do that. So the Ace of Cups helps us to show compassion and shower our loved ones with our affection and care. And the cups symbolise abundance and fertility. So the Ace of Cups is joyful sort of announcements of births or beginnings of emotional or intuitive or even spiritual energy, as well as beautiful new beginnings. And as Cups deals with our emotions, this card can represent the beginning of a new relationship. But don't make the mistake that that's all it's about. It could be that we're going through a new stage within an existing relationship. So the Ace of Cups does not deal with just relationships and love, even though it's a beautiful card to have in a reading. And when you're hoping to meet someone nice, the Ace of Cups is about you feeling happy, content and connected with your own life and your emotions. If you've been going through a difficult time and the Ace of Cups comes up in a future position, it would really reassure you that the conflict's about to end and that happier times are on the horizon. And if you've been going through a difficult time with your well-being and there's been a problem and a worry, the appearance of this card would be very positive as to happier times within your well-being. When this card appears in a position with the surrounding energy, it's about everyone surrounding you and wishing you well with their energy, that you're received with a lot of likability and a lot of love and affection. And it's a time for feeling very blessed and for counting on many blessings. The Ace of Cups can suggest that you're experiencing a period of social activity, maybe attending parties, weddings, outings, celebrations. And so there's a deep sense of friendship and family. So it's a good time, and it's about connecting through experiencing camaraderie with those around us. And so it's a time to actually think that life is good when this ace appears. If this comes up in a relationship reading, which is what everyone wants to know, of course, it really bodes well. It shows great potential for happiness. Deep committed love is suggested here. And in a relationship reading, this card speaks for itself. It's welcomed by the reader and the querent alike. So this is an ace that says, that powerful, very positive emotions are, within you, and that this is a safe time to share them and release them with the rest of the world. So you might be experiencing the first stirrings of love as you're drawn to one another. It's a safe time when we see this card for our hearts to be open to the experience of it all. You might feel more alive than you ever have done for some time. Heady, with intensity. Literally, your cup running over. And so the Ace of Cups brings a lot of great love and a deep spiritual connection with someone. And this is not to be confused with what we would call casual love. So the Ace of Cups can indicate marriage, engagement, pregnancy, depending on the surrounding cards. And the chalice is a feminine symbol. It represents the womb. So, pregnancy might be suggested as the dove brings life to the vessel, if you look at it like that. And so the Ace of Cups is also signalling spiritual and even psychic development. And the Cups people are naturally psychic and intuitive, so that's all as Cancerians, Scorpions and Pisceans. So the Ace of Cups highlights these abilities because it's all about what we feel, clairsentience, and we pick it up. If you think of tumbler of water, like wine, and you put a stone in it, the water moves up and makes way for it. So water signs do absorb when something comes in, like into the vessel here, and the water makes way for that and expands. So you can't help, if you are the element of water, but be prone to that natural intuition, because you are like the water. It's in you. You feel it. It's affecting you. So you might be interested in developing your skills. So this might be a great time to study, do tarot courses, do your Reiki, crystals, anything that connects to your empathy, your intuition, or something that's helping you develop and awaken your spiritual side. I'm going to put the keywords back on because we had a moment where people couldn't hear me, and I popped it on just so that I could quickly sort out my microphone, so it wasn't uncomfortable for those that were watching. So let's just give you some keywords and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I want to talk to you about this quick spread you can see on your screen. Now, when I talk about being able to give in-depth readings, it's because using this many cards in a reading is going to provide you with a system, and you're going to be able to know what each position is telling you. Not only that, notice for every position there is a pair. And if you watch on Tuesdays, my tarot twists, you'll know how to fuse two cards together. Don't miss anything, because I show you how simple a tarot reading can become if you combine your cards. And so you saw how you can make tarot reading a lot easier on yourself by having a system and some sort of structure to be able to read. If you want to know more about that, head over to my website tarotwithemily.com and you'll see all the courses on there. Of course, we have Thursday and Tuesdays. We have the podcasts. I'll show you those before I go. For now, you may be interested in continuing with what the symbology of this card represents. So we said that the Ace of Cups brings about maybe engagements, weddings, pregnancies, births, parties, any social occasion. And of course, birthdays, isn't it? If this came up with a career reading, it could indicate a new job or career that offers deep fulfillment and a sense of joy in one's work. And the Ace of Cups would also suggest a loving and supportive work environment where staff are happy and welcoming. Quite often people say, oh, we're going to actually buy a house, so we're going to be happy there. You'd be looking for the Ace of Cups, but you would also be looking for that in the position of your spread to tell you that that's what it was actually about. So, yes, there's a lot that the Ace of Cups can talk about other than just love and romance. It's also a card that if you are waiting to hear for news of a job application or an offer, that an ideal job would probably allow for your creative individual expression. So the Suit of Cups cards deal with the emotional level of consciousness, and they're associated with love, feelings, relationships and connections. Cups in tarot cards indicate that you're thinking with your heart rather than with your head, and so that reflects our responses that are spontaneous and habitual reactions to certain situations, emotional ones. Cups are linked to creativity, romanticism, fantasy, and the imagination. So when you get a tarot reading, there's a lot of cup cards, you seek solutions to a lot of emotional concerns, matters of the heart, relationships, creativity, and feelings. And so the Suit of Cups represents water, and water is fluid, agile, and in flow. But it's also potent and formative, and as I said, it can be completely full of empathy and feeling, and it can absolutely embody things within it and feel everything with a great intensity and not recognize that it doesn't belong to them. It can be soft and gentle, like the waves lapping on the sandy shore, or very powerful and forceful. Don't forget, raging rivers, stormy seas. So don't forget that water can, we have tsunamis, we have the sea, it can turn. And so although water symbolizes fluidity and feelings, intuition, relationships, healing and cleansing, it's also receptive and adaptable and purifying and flowing. But there's often the other side of it. Don't forget that. Right? People that are represented by the Suit of Cups, when we come to the court cards, are usually emotional, artistic, humane, and creative. And they connect with their emotional selves, and they draw energy from what they're feeling from within. And so they're said to correspond to the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. And this is associated with the subconscious mind and reasoning. And of course, the negative side of the Suit of Cups is they're overly emotional and wholly disengaged. And of course, they can be dispassionate or have completely unrealistic expectations, fantasizing about what could be. They can also go the opposite and be repressed in emotions, an inability to express oneself or a lack of creativity. So that really is about the fact that, you've got divine love and compassion pouring through you. And so when we get this card, we need to look at ourselves as a vessel with deep spiritual love coming from the universe. And so we've got to allow that in and remember that we give love, we receive love, and we are love. So our heart overflows. So it's a perfect time for us to actually look and be grateful for loving connections and acceptance and having compassion for everything, just living. And as with all the aces in the tarot, it's an invitation, isn't it? And it's like saying, will you take it? Will you say yes to this divine love and compassion? And will you allow it to run with you in your life? And so it's down to us. So the Ace of Cups is carrying the potential for that emotional fulfillment and that spiritual fulfillment, but only if you embrace it with an open heart. So this card often appears in tarot readings when we're open to creative expression, especially when we're allowing our emotions to shine through. So we might be inspired by new projects and engage in different points in our life where we feel comfortable within ourselves and we're able to happily express this part of ourselves to others and ourselves. And we seek a fresh potential, don't we? Because we're letting those creative juices flow, just like this card. Letting your imagination and your talent explore new possibilities. So the Ace of Cups represents new relationships indeed. It can be friendships, new family connections, or a blossoming romance. It's an exciting card, very fluttery, you know. It can make us feel excited and nervous and as if we've got butterflies. And it's just lovely to have those feelings. Despite our nerves, we should be glad to have met someone with whom we can perhaps share that very special connection with. So we need to allow ourselves to be open to being able to give and receive unconditional love. And then we'll know that the affection is flowing effortlessly. And so we're going into that loving state. And so the water in this card is reflecting that flow of emotion through the Ace of Cups. So it's generous and it's compassionate side. And it's a time of giving, not just taking. We've got to make the most of both sides. And you'll be radiant because you've got this lovely, beautiful, positive energy, which brings great happiness to you and those around you. So it's a time of giving and receiving on multiple levels. And if we only let that birth of a new idea spark that inspiration, we can invest in ourselves and that loving, creative energy. If we were to get this card coming up in, should we say, career, work, finances, it would tell us we're experiencing pure joy and emotional fulfillment within our job or our career, and that you're able to be your authentic self and express that so that you're tapping into that flow within you. In a financial reading, the Ace of Cups can be a sign of contentment and happiness, no matter how much or little you have, because you feel rich, not because you've got money, because you're content and you're joyous. Life's good and you're in the flow. Money isn't a concern. So, you know, that thing, my cup's half empty, my cup's half full. They're kind of my cup's half full. So the Ace of Cups as a personality is someone that's full of love. They radiate joy and appreciation, compassion and kindness. And so they're really comfortable when it comes to expressing their emotions, and they wear their heart on their sleeves. And they don't care who knows, because they're not afraid to express themselves. If it's something sad, they cry. And if they want to tell you and share their feelings with you and say, you know, I love you, they'll do that because it gives them great joy and happiness to say that things are going well. And if this comes up in relationships and love, it's a beautiful card, especially if you're single, because it's suggesting that it's the start of a new relationship that's filled with love and happiness. And if you open your heart and allow itself to feel the feelings, this potential has something much more substantial for the long term. If you're in an established and committed relationship, don't worry, the Ace of Cups means you're rediscovering that early spark of romance that brought you together, as if you're dating again. So both of you will recognise the importance of listening to your heart, and sharing your emotional connections will just bring you closer together again. You know, you'll find that spark. You might create an open, safe space to share yourself and experience that emotion with each other. Spiritually speaking, it's a very spiritual card and a religious card, as I said right at the beginning. And so if you are looking to look at your spiritual self, you'll be perceiving deep connections with the divine, the universe, spirit, soul, your guides, and everything will be quite open to spiritual transformations. And that inner voice will probably be very powerful, helping you manifest new beginnings. It's one of those cards where you make sure that if you see this, do what I'm doing, keep drinking water. Right, we're nearly at the end of this. Any questions, anybody? Yeah? Just to mention that when we see the water lilies, the lily pads, those leaves come combined with the tree of life, and so it's a very sort of religious card, overflowing love, joy, beauty, breakthroughs in your life. It's about being fortunate and being peaceful and serene and having harmony. It's all about that spiritual sort of fulfillment in our lives, and that we know that we're being supported by our loved ones, by a presence, help from the divine, and that our higher being and our spiritual self are looking at spiritual revelations. So it's a beautiful, beautiful card, and everything about this indicates that there's a beautiful feminine force surrounding the matter, and very much in favour of those beautiful emotional elements where we're just grateful, just being grateful, nothing more, nothing less. So the aces in the minor arcana are, all aces are lovely, but I think this is perhaps one of my favourites because it suggests such beautiful opportunities that present themselves. And of course the elemental association indicates the nature of this opportunity, which is love and abundance. So just a reminder, everybody, that we have the podcasts, and that's on my YouTube channel. This is what you're looking for. Learn Tarot, which is our Thursday playlist, all to do with learning one card at a time, like we did tonight. And there's the playlist of the cards that we started off with, the Fool, working through the major arcana, through the suit 1 to 10 of Swords, now starting on the Ace of Cups as it was tonight. And just so you know, that's where you'll find me, Tarot with Anne-Marie, on my YouTube channel. Thank you to everybody that comes along and watches. I hope you enjoy the fact that we go diving deep into a card. So it's not about how you read that card, and it's not about going into the history of it means this, that and the other. It's just nice to know why that card has got all that symbology and to help you know why it was put there. So as a reader, you're able to see so much more than just those keywords that we mention. It's all part of it. Take which bits you want, but if you want to be a professional reader, do hop on to my courses, because they are for people who have always wanted to be a professional, but something's been holding them back. Courses, of course, if you want to start off from scratch and you're curious about tarot, you're welcome to go in there. But I specialise in helping people cross that bridge from knowing their tarot and being able to put all the pieces together so they can have a career and actually ditch maybe the 9 to 5. You're welcome, passionate Saji. Yeah, it's all about just being able to say we can put more and more to it. We're all learning all the time. Put this together for you all to help you cross that bridge to get to where you want to go, because we always want to take the next step, climb that mountain bit by bit. Yeah. From me, Anne-Marie, have a wonderful week. Have a beautiful solstice, and yeah, beautiful times as we go into the sign of Cancer. What was more fitting than starting today with our element of water and the Ace of Cups. From me, Anne-Marie, till next time, see you soon. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye for now.